Good evening, board members and residents. I'd like to call to order our regular board meeting of Monday, August 25th, 2025. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I will take the roll to start. Mr. Backins?
Here.
Mr. Brado?
Here.
Mrs. Brown?
Here.
Mr. Olgiati?
Here.
Mr. Tominello?
Here.
Mr. Witt here, and Mr. Burkest said he has to be excused. Seeing that we are short our supervisor for the meeting, we would need a motion to appoint an acting chair for the meeting.
I'd like to make that motion.
Who are you appointing, Mr. Backins?
Adam Webb.
Thank you. So, motion by Mr. Backins, supported by Mr. Tominello, to appoint myself as acting chair and due to the excused absence. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, board. Next up, we have our approval of the consent agenda. On our consent agenda, we have the approval of the regular meeting minutes of August 11th, 2025, approval of the bills in the amount of $2,054,569.66, and approval of the July 2025 revenue and expenditure report. Motion to approve the consent agenda as it's presented.
So, that motion. Support.
Motion by Mr. Brado, supported by Mr. Backins. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, board. Next up is the approval of the regular agenda. I'm not aware of any changes for tonight's meeting, so hearing none, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the regular agenda as it's presented.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Olgiati. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Ms. Brown. All right. Hearing no further comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, board. I do have the supervisor announcements. They were sent to me earlier today. So this Thursday is our last concert at Waterfront Park featuring Rocksteady. Not only is it our last concert for the summer, it's Rocksteady's last concert ever. So if you've been around the township, you've probably seen them a couple times. They're a pretty regular occurrence, so make sure you get out and see them for their last time. It's 6 o'clock at Waterfront Park. Next would be our senior center is hosting their annual Senior Expo on Tuesday, September 16th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. For more information or how to become a vendor, you can contact our senior center at 586-466-1497. For any information on these as well as other township events, you can call the supervisor's office at 586-466-1445 or visit our website at harrisontownshipmi.gov. Board, are there any other announcements? Right. Hearing no other announcements, we will move on to item D1, which is the concrete repairs. Board members, as you most of us know, the water department will annually go out and do their water main repairs. So we have multiple breaks throughout the township that we have to do, some of them under concrete sidewalks or concrete roads, driveways, where we had to remove existing concrete, and then so we replace it. Usually when we do asphalt, we're able to do that ourselves, but concrete, we've reached out to outside vendors to be able to perform that work in a little more efficient and cost-effective manner. So we have a recommendation from the Public Services Director to award the low bid concrete proposal to Farrell Contracting at a cost of $22,020.77.
I'll make that
Motion by Mr. Tominello. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Mr. Olgiati. Any discussion on the matter? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, board. Give me 1 second. All right. Next on our agenda is the marijuana business permit appeals. So as required under our ordinance, our marijuana businesses recently applied for renewal of their annual permits. The ordinance states that if a permit holder does not commence operations within 2 years of issuance of the initial permit, the permit shall be deemed forfeit. However, the permit holder may appeal to the township board for extension beyond that initial 2-year window upon a showing of good cause. We've received written requests from 2 permit holders who are currently not in operation. Hazel Park Growth is recently got their certificate of occupancy, so they're all set from our side from an inspection standpoint, but they do not have their state license to operate. So they're waiting on that at this point. And then Flourish, Michigan, they had been an ongoing operating business, but recently withdrew their state license as they go through a reorganization of their business. And so we felt that because they have had their permit for longer than 2 years and at this point weren't operating, we felt that it should come to the board for, just concurrence that they, to allow them to renew for this next year. Again, attached to other request, I personally would feel comfortable with the board renewing both of these. They've both made investments in their building, and as we've seen, we've had businesses come and go, so the market has made a lot of the corrections for us, and we don't have to be the bad guy in a market as competitive as the marijuana business currently is. If you can't survive, you're not going to. I personally feel like let's let the market sort out at this point. Any questions or comments?
Are we doing these individually, or are we doing them?
It's the board's discretion. We've done it both ways, so.
I'd like to do it individually, and I'd like to get some more information on Flourish, Michigan. It seems like it's kind of complicated, the letter that was written, so I don't know if there's somebody from Flourish that can kind of explain where they're at right now.
Yeah.
It's from Flourish, okay.
Yeah, we can invite you up to the podium there just so you can speak to the appeal.
So as Adam stated, obviously it's a very competitive market, so my building, or the building is still set up for growing, and I'm looking to do processing there as well, so right now I'm kind of literally restructuring. So it's just more of the timing with it. I expect to be reapplying back to the state hopefully within the next 90 days or so. But it was just the timing. Obviously they couldn't approve the permit because I'm not operational at this point in time. But I do plan on reopening again in the next, like I said, hopefully 90 days. I don't know if you have any specific questions.
So you have been operational before in the past,
Yep,
Ryan?
my license just expired in June.
And when we were talking about it, because, the cost for a state license is rather significant.
Yeah.
And where he was at the timing with his business, it made sense to let it lapse and then to come back and reapply at that point once they reorganize the business to make it fit for what they want.
It's almost $30,000 to do it, so I don't want, you want to maximize the time that you have, because basically the clock starts once you apply. So for me to have repaid my renewal in June but not be operational would have cut me short in this upcoming year.
It's $30,000 for a 1 year.
It's, between both here and then with the state, so I was a legacy, so I've been going for a while, so it's $21,600 for each license though, so it's actually be over, $43,000 to be processing.
Yeah, and if they're successful in expanding beyond just the grow where they're at now and adding a processing, that is additional revenue from a permitting standpoint for us. Not that that's the end all be all, but that's a reason to consider as to why we want to do it. And we, as part of their getting the business expanded and adding the processing, we are in there with building department, all the trades inspections, as well as the fire department, just to make sure that everything still is up to code.
So we basically have 3 different licenses that you can apply for in here: growing, processing, and transporting, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Correct. In
Harrison Township. So this is for the grow license or the processing license? Or both?
For both.
So it's for the location, and I guess we can grow and process within the same location, so you can co-locate those 2 together. So it's one location that can offer those 2.
So in the past, you've always had the grow license, but not the processing license?
I paid for the processing license there for just packaging. Like with this year, I repaid for the processing license again. But I plan on running both out of there. Yes.
And when are you hoping to be operational?
hopefully in the next 90 days or so, I'll be reapplying to the state.
And again, the state process is out of their control from
Yeah.
an application standpoint. And when we started doing this, you were seeing 6 months.
Yeah.
And then when they sort of got in the swing of things, you were seeing 2 weeks. And it just depends on where they are in the situation. So I wouldn't want to say like, oh, he's going to be operational within 90 days. Well, no, because some things are going to be out of his control. And I would, and the way we've handled it in the past is sort of give people more than enough time to make sure we're not dealing with, we need to extend it 30 days or something like that. Anyone else have any other questions for this?
I mean, I believe when we passed this ordinance, we've looked at these for the last 3 or 4 years where people come to us to appeal. Obviously, they've made huge investments in their properties in their township. There's a 0% chance we'll be talking about this one next year, is that correct?
Yes.
Because I asked the question of another one, and we're talking about it this evening, so there's a 0% chance that we'll be talking about it. And I'm not trying to be hard about this board probably spent, not this entire board, but we probably spent 6 months
Yeah.
to get this approved.
Yep.
And the stipulation was, just so everybody knows, when there is a license that is no longer being used,
Yep.
we were going to claw the number back.
Okay.
So that's why it's not as simple as,
Gotcha.
but to hear your story and to understand,
Yeah.
The plights of the marijuana business, I understand it's not the easiest one to operate right now. So, I'll make to a motion to approve. Name of it, I don't see,
Flourish.
is it for a duration?
I mean, if we're doing, there's a renewal,
Renewal.
they're
I'll make a
1 year
motion to allow the renewal.
renewal. A motion by Mr. Backens, supported by Mr. Votto to approve the 1-year renewal for Flourish, Michigan. Is there any further discussion? Is there any public comment? Hearing none, motion to approve the renewal. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
The other one before us is the Hazel Park Growth facility. Like I said earlier, that one recently completed their construction. And I know Mr. Backens alluded to it, but this is one that we've talked about previously. And I think part of the reason that this is the one that we've talked about on a somewhat regular basis is because it's also the only one that was a brand-new building from Greengrass. So, I think we're all familiar with some of the issues that we've run into, and then, so this applicant first ran into the issues with supply chain after COVID that everyone was running into, and then after that, the complications of a rapidly changing and maturing market for marijuana within the state of Michigan. At this point, they are fully built out from our standards, and then the state's going to go through their process for renewal, or review for their application for operations. And I will
Can I-
say,
can I ask-
I'm sorry, Brian.
I was just going to ask, can I ask the applicant a question?
Yeah, I'll leave it.
Is there 0 chance we're going to be talking about this next year?
0, because we've got certificate of occupancy, so we're at 0.
I'll make a motion to approve Hazel Park Growth for their renewal.
A motion by Mr. Backens, is there support? Supported by Mr. Tominello. Is there any further board discussion, or is there any public comment?
No, I just have to basically echo what Mr. Beckens, I understand the financial hardships, I understand the environment that you're working in, but I just would hope that this is the end of these 1-year renewals.
It is.
I really, really truly, because I can't vote again for it with more excuses next year. That's just my own personal opinion. So, but I'll make sure I vote for it right now. That's just my own personal opinion as a business person in the community after seeing these over the last 2 or 3 or 4 years. It's just kind of my feelings about it, that's all. It's time to get to work, let's put it that way.
Yep.
Agreed.
Is there Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, board.
Thank you, board.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, moving on to the next item. Is also from the clerk's office here. So as part of our ongoing records management process, we've been working with our different departments on how we use and store our physical documents. The large-scale documents like building plans and underground prints take up a lot of physical space, and especially in the case of water and sewer, are used frequently enough to damage these permanent records. These are therefore an ideal candidate for digitization. And we have found in the past that this can be done better and more efficiently by an outside firm. Given the nature of these plans, trying to feed them into our scanner is not effective because they have those little tears on the corner, they curl wrong, and they don't pull through the machine properly. So these outside vendors will use a large-scale flatbed scanner to be able to handle them properly. So they can just do it a little bit better than we can. So attaches pricing from Graphic Sciences. This was the company that did our last outsourced scanning project. And this would address almost all of our large-scale documents from our different departments. The total estimated cost is $73,660.95, with the cost being shared across several different departments, and you can see that breakdown in their proposal there that lays it out. So the pricing, again, is based in their professional opinion on the amount of individual pages within, bound plans and rolled documents and that kind of stuff. So again, it's going to be an estimate, and final pricing is ultimately based on the actual number of documents that they process. Last time we did this, the final price was significantly under the cost estimate. Maybe about, I think we estimated 50 and we ended up at like 35. So it was a pretty big difference, but I can't guarantee it. So I'm asking for board approval to contract with Graphic Sciences at a cost not to exceed $80,000 for scanning services. This would give us a 10% contingency in the event that the scope exceeds the original estimate. And like we find, a set of plans for the building department that we're like, we should really get those too. Really, this is part of, from my perspective, both part of an effort to protect the documents, but also we're going to be at a premium for square footage within the space, and these take up a lot of space. But it also will enhance operations. So like right now, our water and sewer guys, if they go out on a water main break, they have to come in and get a copy of the plans for where the shut-off boxes are, where the nearest tap is, all that kind of stuff. Now this would be available through an electronic portal for them to be able to access remotely in the field, either through an iPad or a laptop kind of device. So they'd have better access, save them from coming into the office. So little things like that. When we digitize these, they're backed up in multiple places, so the document has a long-term savability there. So happy to answer any questions about the project or entertain a motion.
I just have two questions real quick.
Yes, sir.
What happens with the old documents after you scan?
So some of them will be thrown away.
Okay.
Some of them will be returned for use depending on the different departments' needs for them. Ultimately, when we did it last time for building plans, we destroyed them on the other side. The goal is to limit the amount of paper that we have to only the paper that we absolutely need. And part of the cost of this is going through and specifically making sure that what we capture from an imaging standpoint picks up all those fine pencil lines that maybe an inspector in the field noted, actually, there's a big rock here, we had to move it 3 feet over. That kind of stuff happens all the time. So that's,
The only other question I have, Adam, is who controls the information? Is it controlled by Graphic Sciences? Do we always have control? Is the intellectual property, do we always have control over that?
Sure, they're gonna bring me back a thumb drive.
Okay,
and say,
the
"Here you
only
go."
reason I'm asking is because I don't want to say, okay, we're going to spend this amount of money, and all of a sudden this company goes out of business, and we don't have access to our,
No,
to our-
absolutely.
to our property.
Absolutely, yeah, they're gonna give us the thumb drive that, I think there's a line item call out for saying like, hey, it's a thumb drive that we're gonna give
Okay,
you.
all right, I just want to make sure
Yeah,
that,
and like when we did it for the building, we had them hold the plans for a period of time so we could go through and do spot checks and make sure that the data came across good, because you don't want to throw it away before you know that you captured it properly. So,
okay.
I have a quick question. Are we doing this annually? Is there kind of a plan for the future? Because obviously we're just going more, tech savvy, so it's going to be needed.
yeah, so it's how do you eat an elephant, right? And so we've been trying to take what we can internally and do those kind of documents. This is just a backlog of large-scale stuff that we just won't get to it in any reasonable period of time. We've had somebody, that has been doing some scanning, as an outside person, to be able to help us catch up, but again, we'll never catch up to what we're creating. We
Okay.
don't take huge chunks every now and then.
Okay.
And this probably won't be the last time that we're talking about document management at this level, because we still have all of our, what I would consider more like a 8.5 by 11 style documents that are, if you're familiar with the engineering building, there's 2 long rolling cabinets that are full of documents, that we want to look at, possibly, making those digital as well, and it might involve, additional staff or outside firm or whatnot. But, last time we looked at doing the small scale stuff, it was a similar price to this, that $70,000 to $80,000 number. And the way we felt is that over time, mostly, if everyone's got a desktop scanner, I can sit there and catch up on stuff when I have a downtime, and that's like what we've been doing in our office. But again, your catches as catch can, so we're probably gonna look at maybe seeing if like next summer we can hire somebody in the summer or something like that to
Okay.
help go through and do scanning and that kind of stuff.
I'll make a motion to approve to contract with Graphic Sciences at a cost not to exceed $80,000 for scanning services.
A motion by Mr. Olgiati, is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Mrs. Brown. Is there any further board discussion?
Well, I see some of these paper scanning, there's 151,200. I'm not IT board member, but does all this stuff fit on a thumb drive, or is it going to be stored with SYO with our systems, and has anybody talked to him to make sure?
I'm not worried about that between our contractual storage with Laserfish and.
We'll most likely upload it.
But we, so we,
We're gonna upload it.
yeah, so there'll be a multiple, and memory is cheap now, to be able to say like, hey, we threw a 2 terabyte, storage unit on there isn't ridiculously expensive anymore. I think the new iPhone comes out with a terabyte of data, a terabyte of storage for, $1,500.
And I know we're looking at a new architect. Is Wade Trim going to eventually do the same thing? Is that what you're thinking down the road? You said this won't be the end of it, but Wade Trim holds a lot of our township documents?
So most of their stuff is already digital.
Oh, it's already digital?
Wade Trim stuff is almost exclusively digital. So if there's any transfer that needs to come to us, it's most likely going to be through an FTP or a USB.
Okay.
Or shared hard drive or something.
Thank you.
Anything else, board? Hearing no further board comment and seeing no public comment, we have a motion by Mr. Olgiati, supported by Mrs. Brown, to approve the contract with Graphic Sciences at a cost not to exceed $80,000 for scanning services. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, board. All right. Moving on to item F1 is our renewal for our Clinton River Watershed Council Public Education Contract. We hold and maintain a municipal separate storm sewer system, or MS4 permit with the state of Michigan. This is a requirement of the EPA's Clean Water Act. One of the requirements of the permit is that we engage in certain public and employee education efforts. The Clinton River Watershed Council offers a service where they provide this education for an annual fee. Attached is the proposed contract for these services for the next 5.5 years. The initial 6-month period has a cost of $1,450, and then the next year's fee for most of 2026 is $2,910, with built-in price escalators based on inflation. For reference, the fee for this service for most of 25 was $2,170. Although this increase is more than inflation, we do have a good partnership with the Watershed Council, and there is significant cost sharing that goes on because most municipalities within the watershed utilize them for their services, so they're creating documents that are, we don't have to create from scratch. They can share that cost of creation across all the users. So supervisor is recommending that we approve the 5.5-year contract with the Clinton River Watershed Council for Public Education as presented.
I'll make the motion to approve the 5.5-year contract with the Clinton River Watershed Council for Public Education as presented.
A motion by Mr. Brotto, is there support?
Support.
Supported by Mr. Olgiati.
Mr. Witt, may I comment?
Yes, sir.
I just want the board to note that our firm was retained by the Clinton River Watershed Council to prepare the contract, so we did. If you felt like you wanted to have another attorney look at it, that probably shouldn't be me. But it was presented to, I think, all the Macomb County municipalities.
Yeah, and it's not even just municipalities, it's the school districts, it's, so it's a larger group of people than just the townships and cities. Any other comments? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, we have a motion to approve the 5.5-year contract with the Clinton River Watershed Council for Public Education as presented. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, board. Moving on to item F2, which is to approve the 3-year contract with SYO. SYO has been our IT service provider for an extended period of time. The current network service contract is coming to an end. Currently, monthly, we pay $2,525, and they're proposing a renewal of $2,650 per month for 3 years. They have provided excellent service in my time here, and then the supervisor is recommending that we renew the contract for a 3-year period at a cost of $2,650 per year. I don't know if you have anything to add, Mr. Connell, you guys oversee it.
Yeah, so I do, and, first of all, I would just want to say that, you're absolutely right. I mean, SYO works pretty much directly with my department, for IT services, equipment, support. And one thing I just want to mention where I feel, and I apologize, I probably should have spoken to the supervisor about this, but I guess my only problem, and I don't want to call it a problem, I guess let's call it a concern, is SYO is not available before 8:30 in the morning. Our office is open at 8 o'clock. If there's an outage or anything that happens when we come in, we are not up until sometime after 8:30 at the earliest. And there's no after hours or before hours call. So I think that would be the only concern that I have. I really would like to see some type of amendment possibly where, services might be available, customer service reps, or they would take calls like at 7:30.
Do you want to, I mean, that's a pretty significant thing. Do we want to table it to allow for those discussions or approve it?
I
or-
don't, and I didn't look at and I apologize, I didn't look at the dates on it. They're probably close. I don't want to,
September 14th, 25.
so it's close, right? So, but I do think it's, significant enough where, here's the problem. People start getting in the office 7:30, 8 o'clock, and if things are down, we cannot do anything until after, we can't even call till after 8:30. So everybody sort of sits around, we're not productive, we can't help customers. And it's happened more than once. I think it's significant enough where we probably should address it. I don't know if it's something that we could amend after the fact, but I really don't want to, interfere with this agreement, but I think it's something we need to discuss.
And I mean, we've been with them for probably
Oh, yeah,
20, no.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been for them 22, 23 years, so if we went to, Jason and said, hey,
Right.
can we get an extra month so we can discuss
And
this
that's,
issue?
that's where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
And, I didn't bring it up to, to stop this at all, because I think, for the money we pay, we get great service, and we have a good relationship now. Things work seamlessly, unfortunately, like they did a few years back. But, so that's just I guess I just want to comment on that.
We have another meeting prior to the expiration date. So
Yeah,
if
and
you wanna-
I think unfortunately I'm not going to be there, but you guys can discuss it.
Yeah, but if you were able to get the answers for us for that meeting, while I appreciate your insight, we could table it till that.
Well, or could we vote on it and then address that as maybe addendum to the contract?
Sure.
I'm looking at the 20 2025 to 2028 contract. The 2028 expires December 31st, and this one expires September 14th. So I see that it appears to be that it grew more than 3 years. I'm only assuming that it was maybe done for, because that's an election year, gives the new board that seated a little bit of time.
If I had to guess, it was just lining up all his business, you know, with a year end. So he knows when to look for him. But either.
I would be comfortable just saying, you know, why don't we table it and have Jason put something in writing on his contract language here. And send it back to us. Get it out of the way next week.
Are you all right taking that on, Mr. County?
Yeah, sure, I can talk to Jason and I can talk to the supervisor and, do that tomorrow morning.
Do we want a formal motion to table, or are we good with that direction?
Motion's not necessary if you want to just put it.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what the board wanted to do. We good?
Good.
Good?
All right, so we will move on to item F3, which is approval of the 5-year maintenance for the spillway assessment. So the spillway, or the Clinton River Cutoff Canal, was engineered and built in the 1940s and 50s to alleviate flooding, mostly in Harrison Township and Mount Clemens. Management of the spillway is through the Intercounty Drain Board. Over the years, the board has been assessed cost to maintain the spillway. Attached is a letter from the Secretary of the Intercounty Drain Board detailing the most current 5-year assessment. Our share of the assessment is $20,299 over 5 years. And so we're recommending that the board approve the maintenance agreement with the Intercounty Drain Board as presented. And I will say the Secretary of the Intercounty Drain Board is Public Works Commissioner James Miller. And so, you know, definitely trust the numbers and the cost and getting a good return on our investment.
I'll make the motion to approve the Spillway Inter-County Drain Board's 5-year maintenance assessment in the amount of $20,299.
Motion by Mr. Brado, is there support?
I'll support.
Supported by Mrs. Brown. Is there any further board discussion on this? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, motion to approve the 5-year maintenance assessment in the amount of $20,299. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, board. With that, we are moving on to public and board comments. So we'll open the floor for public comment. We do ask if you have comment, we do the chairs, that way we know we have somebody else to come up and talk. We bet you limit yourself to 5 minutes in time.
C. William Bardell, 28-year resident, clean-cut, do-gooder, boy next door. Fix up, clean up, people helping people. I just want to remind everyone to please check out Save Lake St. Clair Facebook. Some reading material for you. And keep up to date on everything. And thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
My name's Dave Santoro. I live at 41630 Belvedere. I want to bring up to the board's attention about all these Airbnbs that are coming into Harrison Township. I have one right across the street from me that is becoming to be a nuisance. It's very destructive. We had an issue last week with the residents that were there. Sheriff was there 3 days in a row. I don't know what the township feels about Airbnbs, but I didn't get a chance today to look up to see how many there are in Harrison Township, but I'm becoming more and more aware of these Airbnbs growing by leaps and bounds. To me, it's a commercial business. It doesn't belong in our community. And I would like to know what the board's feelings are towards them, because I'm starting to get pretty upset with what's going on across the street from me.
Thank you, and we will respond after we close public comment. No problem. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Is there any further public comment? And just, we would ask you to use the podium, just so for people that are at home, they can hear it as well.
Tom Igel, 41640, right across from the alleged problem house, okay? So what we've done now is we have 30 people in the middle of the street, partying until, 3 in the morning, and this is on a Tuesday. What you've done is allowed the ghetto to come into our city in an area where we pay high taxes. This is exactly what's happening. The bachelor parties are there, so that brings a different type of people there also. So you got a big house with lots of people. They block our driveways off. You got boats I have to have moved from my house so I get out of my driveway. I come home to conflict. I don't need conflict when I come home. I'm a taxpayer. I got a business across the street. You got multiple bass boats in an area that can't park a boat. They don't have a parking area for the people they support. The garbage is out there all week long. We get to smell their garbage. We've been good neighbors, but now we have to bring up every issue that comes up in that house because it is sort of tearing us apart there.
Thank you.
Brian Reeder, 41570 Belvedere, neighbors of mine, and just echoing their concerns. First of all, increased traffic and I guess disregard for all of the children that are on the in the neighborhood, on the street, playing around. And when you have people that are there for a short weekend or vacation, it's nice that we live in what they think is a resort community, but their disregard for everything else that's going on where we live is concerning. So you've got the issue with the traffic. I know that another neighbor of ours, he's had several people just wandering right through his backyard. So there's a concern of invasion of privacy in your own property. Again, when we pay significant taxes to live in a nicer community, and to have that invasion, it's obviously concerning. We talked about the sheriff coming this past week, and I know that that's not the first time that police have been called to this residence or this rental house or B&B or whatever you want to call it. So a drain on resources, inconvenience, whether it's merely unsettling to those that live on the street, a cost that we have to take on as taxpayers. The whole community has to cover our share of costs there. Dave mentioned commercially used property. It's not a rental home where somebody is residing there for any significant period of time. They're there for a weekend, they trash the place, they don't care about, what's going on outside. I've heard stories, and I've only heard stories of public nudity stemming from this home. So, again, us with young kids in the neighborhood, nobody wants to see that. So I guess, that's the solution to it. Nobody really knows what's going to make the problem go away, but just a suggestion that we kind of collectively thought of was perhaps putting a limit on how short of a term a rental can be within the township. And if you have somebody that's there for a day or two, you get what you get. If you've got somebody that has a little bit of roots in the property, then we've got a better chance of them taking some care and actually living in the community instead of just plopping down for a weekend and moving on to the next one. So that's all. I just supported my neighbors and concerned for my own kids and my neighbors' kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further public comment, we'll close public comment and return to board comment. I just want to let you guys know, and if I miss something, I'm sure Mr. Tominello will step in. We've been working for an extended period of time on how to address short-term rentals. Mr. Huth can attest to this. The law had been very unsettled as to how municipalities can regulate those buildings and those types of uses. So a lot of it was sort of, it was new, and so then people were sort of, the legal landscape was fluid in trying to get settled. And I think we're sort of at a point where we understand what we can and can't do. And at this point, the planning commission is working on updating our zoning ordinance as a whole, but definitely one of the points they talked about was the limiting of short-term rentals and exactly what that looks like at this point. I think they're still feeling around the edges, but definitely trying to limit it from residential areas.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Wade, and you're absolutely right, we are looking at our ordinance, we're polishing them up a little bit, we do talk about Airbnb, and I believe, although we have not completed the renovation on the ordinance, I believe it's going to read, anything less than 30 days. Because 30 days is typically, somebody's gonna rent a
lease or
home,
something.
right? So I think that's where we just started discussions last Thursday, and it was, not in residential areas, and then if it was supposed to be nothing less than 30 days. So that's sort of what it's gonna end up being, we don't have the final wording or verbiage yet, but that's sort of where we were headed. Because we had other things that we were, we had other folks that had issues as well, so we were trying to address it.
May I add one
Yeah.
thing to that? Mr. Olgiati called me about this earlier today and mentioned the St. Clair Shores case. The St. Clair Shores case is one in which the municipality brought misdemeanor charges against the residential owner of the property. He testified at trial that he was using the property for an Airbnb purposes, and pursuant to some language that they had in their ordinance, the court violated him. That was appealed to the Macomb Circuit Court, and that was affirmed, and finally to the Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals upheld it. Unfortunately, they didn't publish it, which would be helpful because you could have a written opinion that was published and is precedent. It's still somewhat helpful for us. So, anywho, as our lawyers in our firm work with the Planning Commission on an ordinance here, we will take some language from that Court of Appeals decision and put it into our ordinance to help give us some ammunition for this type of behavior that you guys are suffering through in your neighborhood. We're,
And so I don't want to go back and forth, and we can talk about this afterwards if we want to, but cities have a different type of authority to be able to create rules whole cloth. Townships are limited to what authority we're given from the state, so whereas a city can go and amend their charter and say, here's the rules if you want to play ball here, we don't have that same power and authority. So a township's a much more limited form of government, so that's why we're trying to rely on Mr. Huth's firm, our planner with the Planning Commission, and to go through that. And if you guys are interested in being part of that process as they design it, I want to say the next meeting is September 18th.
Yeah, we're
for the
gonna
Planning Commission.
continue with ordinance renovations at that time, so, but again, 30 days was something we just threw out, maybe we do 60 or 90. I don't know, we just started discussions on that.
Yeah, but if you want to do it this way, so we've been trying to let the dust settle a little bit, so maybe, not that we can't solve the problem, but make sure if there's a community like, up north where we have them and they're a problem, they